Check, recording has started.
Yes, yes, madam. Yes, madam. Started from outside.
But we are not waiting for some people to join, or should I start?
Madam, student will join in few minutes. You can start.
Okay. Okay, good morning to everyone. Today is a nice, pleasant morning outside, Saturday morning, and we are doing our next session for BSc Economics. Okay, I'd like to share my PPT with you. So here we go. Yeah, now I'm sure everyone can see. So today we are going to talk about the art of persuasion, styles of communication, facing rejection and non-conversion, personal selling, and the art of giving feedback. And then, if time permits, the power of belief, how believing can help you achieve great heights. So these are the things we're going to do today for the next 2 hours. By the end of this session, you will be able to explain the art of selling, differentiate between conversion and rejection, and use the power of belief. The art of persuasion. J.A. Conger boiled down the persuasion game to 4 simple steps: credibility, common ground, evidence, and emotional connection. 4 steps: credibility, common ground, evidence, and emotional connection. If you have all these four, you will be able to persuade anyone to buy anything from you. Because eventually, when you join a company, the idea is to convince the person sitting across from you to buy your product, to buy your service, to sell you and your company as a package. The first one is credibility. It's made up of 2 factors: your level of expertise and your relationship. Okay, how credible you are to the person sitting across from you. What is your credibility? What is your worth? It depends on 2 factors. One is how expert you are at your dealings, at your knowledge of the product, and your relationship with the person. People are more likely to be persuaded by someone they trust. Now, suppose you don't have the expertise around the issue you're trying to persuade your team on. Consider bolstering your knowledge through classes and courses. Everyone is not clever at everything. We have to learn at every point of time. We have to learn. So we have to bolster our knowledge through classes or courses and get the maximum out of what we are trying to sell. If we can, we should bring an expert, an outside knowledge source, a consultant or a professor. And if you need help on the relationship side, consider involving someone who has strong relationship with the person who you are dealing with or negotiating with. So suppose you don't know that person, then get someone from the inside of your company who has good relations with that person. So there is trust, there is expertise, and there is good relationship. That is credibility. Common ground. A key to effective persuasion is to highlight the advantages that the people you are trying to persuade would experience. You must, in order to do that, you must thoroughly understand the challenges that your audience faces and what they care about. Both of you must be on the same page. You can't talk of one thing and say, okay, this is what you will get if you buy my product. And that person is thinking about something else completely different. You can't be on two different pages. There has to be a common ground. Okay, here is an example. A manager who streamlined the process of engineering for a jetline manufacturer. In his presentation, the manager was going to highlight the new efficiencies that improved engineering would bring about. Okay, so he was improving the jetline jetline manufacturer was improving the engineering, and he was going to tell them about the efficiencies that a new and improved machinery would bring about. But luckily, he spoke to one of the company leaders informally, and he realized that the company managers or the higher ups were not interested in efficiency or streamlining. They were interested in profitability, how much money they could earn. So this person was making the case, quickly reworked his strategy and his presentation, and he showed the focus on design, but he also told them how this new design would increase their profits. And subsequently, he got approval for the design from the president. So you see what common ground means. He would have talked about efficiencies and fuel saving, but because he spoke about money and said that you will get enough and more profit if you use this machine part, they quickly said yes. People are more likely to be persuaded when you give them evidence that the idea actually works. When it comes to persuasion, it's best to combine evidence like numbers and statistics with emotionally resonant language that uses examples and anecdotes. So no one is going to be persuaded just because you're talking, right? They want hard facts. They want statistics. They want numbers. They want last month's sales. And they also want some emotionally resonant language, not just plain cold hard facts. So good combination of emotional language and hard facts is evidence. So to appeal to emotions, cite your evidence by using evocative, illustrative language. Tell a story. Always there should be a narrative when you are talking or when you are selling. A story always helps. Also try drawing from your own personal anecdotes and examples that involve people that you are trying to persuade. So remember, when you're telling the story, involve your own examples. That's the best way to connect with the audience, with the person you are trying to persuade. Evidence, that is. Emotional connection. That's the next. You need to show your audience that you're emotionally connected to your ideas. Can your audience tell that you are passionate about persuading them? If they can, it's a good sign. But beware, you don't want to go off on the other end of the emotional spectrum. Being overly emotional could be read as being imbalanced. Don't cry or don't laugh too much. Be genuine. That is emotional connect. Strike the right balance. That is what emotional connection is. And for that, you have to understand the room or read the room, read the people in the room. What kind of people are you dealing with? Okay. You have to get an emotional read. Will they follow your own narrative, your own story? Will they be interested in the anecdotes that you're going to tell them? Are they that sort of people? Or are they the sort who are only interested in numbers and profits and figures and slideshows, etc., presentation, and they're not interested in your emotional story? So get a read of the room and then use the technique. So again, talking about the art of persuasion, we are talking about the 4 simple steps: credibility, common ground, evidence, and emotional connection. Remember, credibility, that means you have to have expertise and you have to have relationship, good relations. Common ground is you and they have to be on the same page. They are interested in profits and you're showing efficiency. No go. You will not be approved. Evidence, hard facts, statistics, numbers, figures, and with an emotional language. And then emotional connection is your own narrative, your own anecdotes, and your personality has to be invested in what you are selling so that they are convinced. These are the four simple rules you have to use when you are persuading. Now, remember, you are doing your undergraduation, you will complete it, you will get a job, and somewhere in the job, you'll have to persuade someone, make use of these four points. All right. Now, some more things about persuasion. Why I'm showing you more and more things about persuasion is because eventually any job is the art of selling. Communication, business communication, persuasion, selling, negotiation, all are bunched together under one umbrella, and that is your business. You don't manufacture items just to keep them on the showcase. You manufacture items to sell them to companies. You don't have services that you offer, IT services or any other services, just for the sake of, oh, we've got a service. You want to go to another company and say, would you like to make use of our services for a fee? You have to persuade them to buy your services. So everything in business is persuasion. So we finished those four simple rules of persuasion. Now we come to another book in which the psychologist Berrien talks about negotiation and persuasion, etc., etc. So here we go. The persuasion tools model. And what are they? Look at it clearly. Four quadrants: bargaining, emotion, logic, and compromise. And the x-axis, influencing, and the other axis is intuition. Horizontal axis represents influencing, which is a measure of your overall persuasion capability. How much you can influence the buyer to buy your product. Influence. And the vertical axis represents the level of intuition when using a certain negotiation style. Instinctively, what you feel, will the buyer take it or not? Okay, intuition should be high. There are four ways in which you can negotiate based on your levels of intuition and influencing skills: bargaining, emotion, compromise, and logic. I told you that. That's the four quadrants. For example, if you have a low level of intuition, look at the quadrant, vertical axis, high and low level of intuition. Suppose your intuition is low, but you're good at influencing others. That means high at influencing others, but you don't know exactly whether they will buy or not. But you have good powers of influence, then you have to use logic. Can you see that last quadrant here? Low intuition, but high influencing, use logic. However, if you have low intuition and are poor at influencing others, then you have to use compromise. Got it? Low, both sides. Intuition is low, influencing is low, then you have to use compromise. How to use emotion? Emotion is in the second quadrant. Using emotion effectively in negotiation involves understanding the emotions and feelings of people you are negotiating with to project your influence. So you need high levels of intuition and good influencing skills. Both have to be high. Remember that. Both have to be high. Intuition should be high and influencing should be high. Then you can use your emotion. It is risky, but if you are confident, you'll be able to pass muster. For example, you are a strong competitor, you and a strong competitor, sorry, two people. You and a strong competitor are pitching your services to the same client. You cannot offer a better service or you cannot lower the price. Okay, you are charging 100 rupees for a certain service that you're giving to the client. As a unit, this is one unit and charging 100 rupees. You cannot offer more than one unit as a better service, or you cannot charge less than 100 rupees to the client. And the competitor is charging something else. But you have understood the person you are selling to. You have made a deep study of what he is going through, what all they do as a company, what are their policies, or what are their principles, etc. You've made a deep study of that. And you also know that out of the 100 rupees, 10 rupees will go to charitable products. That is your policy and your business. So when you charge 100 rupees to a client, 10 rupees goes for charity. You use a storytelling approach, including real life examples on how your organization has benefited by giving to charity, and how you understand that the client also shares the same sentiment of feeling, and how he will resonate with the fact that 10% of the profits go for charity. Now, using emotion can be risky. You need to understand the people and yourself for negotiation to be successful. You have to know that that client also is interested in charity. Otherwise, if that client is only interested in making profits, telling your story about charity is of no use to that client. Therefore, it is it used by highly skillful negotiation people. Okay. They have high intelligence and empathy with other people. Such people only who are highly influential, skillful in negotiation, can use emotion as part of their persuasion. And you have to have a deep understanding of the company or the client that you are selling to. Logic. Okay, we finished emotion. Now we come to logic. Logic is where your intuition is low, but high influencing capability. Logic is your best bet. You may not be able to influence that other person, but with logic, you can convince him. Okay. For example, you need to convince your company's executive board that it would be worth acquiring a small distribution company instead of outsourcing that function to an external organization. Like, you know, distribution. Now you've got some items to be sold or to be given to the retailer, etc. And every time you say, excuse me, you call that other person and say, come, outsource this whole job to that other person, and he does it for a fee. So you want to tell your company that instead of outsourcing it to this one, outsourcing it to that one, why don't you buy or acquire that distribution company, buy it with the fee. Every time you pay out a fee, okay, acquire that company. You've done research, okay, and you've got your facts ready, and you can show exactly after a year and a half, you will be in profit after having paid for acquiring the company, and you will be able to distribute from your own self because you have acquired the company of your own self. And that way you will not every time shell out money, and therefore you will get your profits in a year and a half. All this you will show with your computer, with your flow chart, with your logic, with your figures. That is called art of persuasion logic. Now we come to bargaining. Bargaining is one of the easiest and most popular methods of negotiation. You don't need to have strong influencing skills. However, you need to have high levels of intuition because it will be costly if you use bargaining at the wrong time, such as too soon in a negotiation. So you have to be smart and intuitive. Okay. You don't have to influence so much as be smart and intuitive and know exactly when to push in and have your way. For example, bargaining. You're in negotiations with a large software firm trying to get a lower price for a large number of software licenses for your company. You want some software licenses and you're telling the software firm, come on, now give them to me for a lower price. And your manager has told you, don't leave the negotiation until you get at least 20% discount. Okay. Now you go to that software firm and say, come on now, how much are you selling for? And he quotes a price. And he says, come on, buy it because we are offering you the best price. And now you get a sense that he wants to sell it to you. He doesn't want to go away from the table not having sold it to you. He wants to sell it to you at any cost, kind of a feeling, little desperation you can detect. So you say, okay, once you sense that the sales representative really needs your business, begin bargaining by asking for 30% off. He says, no, no, not 30%. I can give you this. No, 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 you can't. I can. No, you can't. And they go back and forth till both agree on 22% and they close the deal. So everyone is happy. The software company is happy, firm is happy because they've sold the licenses. This man who's negotiated is happy because his manager has told him not to come without getting at least 20%. He's got 22, which is good. Everyone's happy. Bargaining. Now, compromise. Compromise is low intuition, low influencing, least powerful style. Okay. Compromise is low influencing, low intuition. Now, example, you've been at your current job for 6 months. Since you started, you worked nights and weekends to catch up on the workload. There is no relief. Your boss says, stay the night, you stay. Your boss said, come the weekend, you've come. Now, after 6 months, you say, I need a raise. So you sat down and renegotiated your salary and compensation package with your boss. So you say, see, now I want to renegotiate my salary. And you feel that getting a 10% raise from them might be tough. So you're compromised. You're not even sure, you haven't even asked, but you're feeling that getting a 10% raise from your boss will be tough. If you get 100 rupees as salary, 10% is 110 rupees is also too much for the company to give you. So you first only you say you compromise and you say, I'm prepared to settle for a lower increase if they will increase my benefits. So you're already compromising and you're telling the boss beforehand only, I know you will not give me 10% raise, so I'm willing to settle for a lower increase if you give me more time to spend, for more weekends for my family, not work late night. So I compromise. Okay. So these are the this is the tool of persuasion. 4 parts we just did. You need, and to be successfully persuasive, you need to keep promises, be reliable, take responsibility, be sincere, know the subject and believe in it, build rapport, be entertaining, and provide solutions that work. Okay, so this is very, very important that you have to be able to persuade the person to move over to your side of the presentation. Now, sometimes he might put up an objection. Sometimes he might say, no, this is not done. I want this less. I want this more. That is where you bargain. Sometimes he compromises. As far as possible, you don't have to compromise. But like I said, if your intuition is low and your influencing powers are low, you have to compromise. But believe in yourself. Be sincere. That is the heart of every negotiation and business that you do. Be reliable, trustworthy, sincere. Know your subject and believe in it. Build rapport. Be entertaining. Provide solutions that work. Don't come up with problems. Come up with solutions. Okay. Now, here is an example which is quite offbeat, different, but yet it is comes under the art of persuasion. Let's read it together. The group had agreed on the ideal type of leader, and there were two obvious candidates within the group, Sham and Sheila. Okay, there was a group, and they said, we will choose either Sham or Sheila. Sheila suggested that Sham should be the leader, and he happily agreed. Decision was made, everyone smiled, except Naresh. Now, Naresh came up. He had been silent for a long time, but now he said, Sham, with your new job, you're going to take on a lot. See, you have got a new job, you have got a lot of responsibilities there. Will you have time to be the leader here? Is the objection that he put up, Naresh said. You will need to make sure to get us organized, or we will not get our job done. So you have to be a leader in your new job. You have to be a leader in with us and get us organized. Otherwise, we will not get our job done. Sham looked for a bit here and there, looked thoughtful, and said, you know, on reflection, I'm not sure I have time to do this as well as my new job. I've got a lot on, as you say. Maybe it would be better if Sheila did it, if she became a leader. Focus, Sheila. Everyone looked at Sheila. Sheila smiled and said she would take it on if the group wanted. They all agreed that would be the best. Then Sheila later asked Naresh why he had intervened when the group had already decided on the leader. Now look at this gentle art of persuasion. Everyone had decided Sham would be the leader. Suddenly Naresh came up with a small objection and a pertinent one. And he said, listen, you are too busy. Will you be able to handle both responsibilities? And Sham believed that he would not. And so he said, I think it's best if Sheila became the leader. Sheila agreed, and they all also agreed. Then Sheila asked Naresh why he had intervened. He said he thought she would be better than Sham and get a better result for the group. He knew, but he didn't want to tell it directly and loudly in front of everyone. In this example, Naresh used his persuasion skills very skillfully to get what he wanted. He created a win-win situation from a potentially uncomfortable conversation. Okay. So this is also art of persuasion. I don't know where it fits, but gently you push this in and convince everyone at the right time that yes, Sham said, yes, I may not be a good leader at this point of time. I think Sheila should be. And Sheila agreed. And for everyone, it was a win-win situation. So, to recap, I would say for successful persuasion, you need to keep promises, be reliable, take responsibility, be sincere, know the subject and believe in it, build rapport, be entertaining, provide solutions at work. That's what we had written earlier. I'm saying it again. And I gave this as an example. Okay, now we'll stop sharing for a bit till I want to see who's joined. Pawan has joined and Isaac has joined. Very good. Okay. So we finished with persuasion. We've done about 40 minutes of persuasion and styles of persuasion. What are the tables of persuasion? Now we will do communication styles. Again, I will share. Okay. Now we have styles of communication. Assertive, aggressive, passive, and passive aggressive. 4 styles of communication. Interpersonal styles of communication. Communicate with others. Interpersonal is how you communicate with others. Now, for persuasion, also, for selling, for negotiation, you need communication, right? How you communicate with others, there are 4 types. Okay. Interpersonal styles of communication is avoiding, passive, aggressive, and assertive. Avoiding is passive aggressive. One is passive, one is aggressive, and one is assertive. No. One sec, huh? I'll just give me 1 minute. Okay, we're back. Avoiding, that is passive aggressive. Um, Making passive aggressive statements, making long rambling statements using phrases such as maybe, I don't know. Sometimes in college, when I was teaching some years back, I had asked someone, why are you late? Ma'am, there was too much traffic. Okay, why did you come late? Oh, my grandfather fell ill and I had to take him to hospital. The servant didn't come, and so all kinds of, I don't know, maybe, somewhat, this, excuses. All these are passive aggressive statements. Not meeting the person in the eye, not looking straight in the eyes of the person, just mumbling something and looking down. How many times we've put our grandmothers and grandfathers in hospitals? I don't know. Every excuse is my mother was sick, my grandmother was sick, etc., etc. Avoiding, passive aggressive. Okay? Aggressive. What is aggressive? Shouting. Look at that spoon and fork and how he's looking at you angrily. That is nonsense. I don't look at the capital letters. I don't like it. You ought to have done it. Should, must. All these words we use in our statement. And we say, that is nonsense. I don't like it. You ought to have done it. Should, must, etc., loudly. That is aggressive. Assertive. Statements that are brief and to the point and supported by facts and figures, using words like, how can we do this? Let's sort this out together, etc., etc. Assertive means is the best form of communication where you deal with the subject and not the person. The matter has to be dealt with. The project has to be completed. The work has to be deal with that. How can we best do it and complete and finish? That is important. Okay. Passive. In this type of communication, someone avoids expressing their opinions, needs, and values. We have very poor self-esteem or feeling about ourselves. We'll say, okay, if you want me to stay, I'll stay. Tonight we have to stay late. But I had promised my wife. No, you have to stay late. Okay. Often the person prioritizes the needs, values, and opinions of others over their own. We feel that we are not important. Someone shouts at us. Okay, we'll do it. Different styles of communication. Assertive, I win, you win. Passive aggressive, I lose, you lose. Aggressive, I lose. And passive, I lose, you win. Okay? I win, you win is the best because no one goes away disappointed. You have to look up this. This will be with you. Look this up. More details about confidence boosting styles, assertiveness, etc. Assertively. Use I statements. Don't blame the other person. Say, I felt angry, not you made me angry. Avoid calling the other person rude or sensitive. Keep responses short. Assertive style of communication. I told you, it's the work that you're dealing with, not so much the person. Don't say you are rude, you are bad, you insulted me, you behaved badly. Not like that. I felt angry, not you made me angry. Okay? Avoid calling the other person rude or sensitive. Keep responses short. Monitor voice and non-verbal cues. Listen carefully. If you don't, you may become aggressive. Now, you understand what the other person is saying for your style of communication to be assertive. Listen carefully. Sometimes you miss out on what the other person is saying, and then you start getting angry and you start working yourself up into an emotion, and then you become aggressive. Don't do that. Try and understand what the person opposite to you is saying. Maintain eye contact. Okay. If you don't maintain eye contact all the time, you're looking down, furtively looking down. That means you are dishonest or you're aggressive. You want to shout. Like that, looking here and shouting, yelling. Don't do that. Okay, now I want you to answer which style of communication. You know the four styles, right? Assertive, aggressive, passive, and passive aggressive. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 examples are given. The boss has asked his 4 employers to stay late and complete the project. One boss, 4 employers. Employer A says, yeah, okay, I will stay, but I have promised my wife to take her out in the night. But I will stay.
Persuasive.
Then B is, yes, someone said something.
I say A is persuasive. Passive.
What is that, Isaac?
Passive.
Yeah, we'll come to that. 1 minute. Okay, we'll finish all 4 and then you'll come to that. So A is that. B is agrees, but he's um, I don't know, you want me to stay? Okay, I'll agree, but I don't know. I didn't want to stay like that. C has a showdown with the boss. He almost collars him and he says, uh-uh. And D explains gently to the boss that his wife is waiting at home. I'm sorry, I cannot stay. You will have to leave. So now we have to identify the four behaviors. Like Isaac said, number one, A quickly agrees, although he has promised his wife a night out, is passive. Okay. What about B? Agrees, but he is resentful.
Is assertive, but
Aggressive. C, C has a showdown with the boss. What is that?
aggressive.
Aggressive. And D explains gently to his boss that his wife is waiting. I'm sorry, but I will have to leave. What is that?
Assertive.
Assertive. Very good. Well done. So you have passive, passive aggressive, aggressive, and assertive. So you have passive because A quickly agrees, passive aggressive because he's agreeing but he's resentful. So it's a lose-lose for both. C has a showdown is aggressive and D explains gently is assertive. So those are the styles of communication. Now dealing with rejection. We'll do this for about 10 minutes and then we'll take a 10-minute break. Okay. Dealing with rejection. All sales calls do not end. Most times no to you. Some may be rude. Some may slam the door in your face. That does not mean you should take rejection personally. Okay? Dealing with rejection. So suppose you're going door to door selling, or you're selling insurance, or you're selling an idea, selling a scheme. No one says yes immediately. Yes, yes, please come. Thank you for this. I always wanted to buy insurance. I always wanted to buy this idea. No one says that. Some people say, please go. They might slam the door in your face, but that is not a personal rejection. Really means that product was bad. It almost never means that you are bad. The product was not a right fit for that person at that time, and it frees you to pursue other prospects. Please remember that that product was not the right thing for him and it was not the right time. That is why he said no. Always go with this conviction that it is not the right product for him and not the right time. Okay? And so you leave him, go to the next and the next. Turn a soft no into a yes. Sometimes the timing is wrong. Sometimes the person is not authorized. And sometimes the prospect has not understood the product. Try again by approaching the right person at the right time with adequate information. Take a stock of what you have you sent out. How many have been converted? What is the percentage? Try and work on this aspect. You see, everything is not meeting face to face. Sometimes you send an email, you send out, suppose you want a job. Okay, that is also there. You want a job, you send out an email to certain hiring companies and say, listen, these are my details. This is my CV. I want a job in your company. How many emails have you sent? How many of those emails have responded positively and said, come and meet me tomorrow or send me more details on that? Okay. Don't say, oh my God, I sent out 100 emails and 25, only 10 have sent me a yes. Try and work on the percentage. Okay, 10% have said yes. That means your success rate is 10%. So send out 200 for 20 people to say yes, and so on. Work on the percentage. Set a timetable for yourself. Define your goal. How many emails per month? How many calls? All this in your timetable. Put 8 o'clock. You get up Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. how you then you have lunch and then you go to sleep perhaps in the afternoon, power nap, and the evening again start sending mails. Do all that. Define your goal, set your timetable. When prospects say no, ask why. You might get some revealing answers. They might have liked the product but couldn't understand why. They were prepared to pay, but they didn't like the quality. Whatever. Just don't feel dejected when they say, no, we don't want to buy. Okay, don't want to buy. Thank you very much. Just like to know why. Oh, the product is very bad. Last time, like, but you're okay with the idea. Yes. Then, what about the money? Oh, it is too expensive. Okay, so you like the idea, you don't like the quality, and you don't like the price. Make details of their objection and come back home. You might get some revealing answers. Now, forget them, forget what you're selling, look at your own achievements, okay? Give yourself a pat on the back for the achievements. Rule of 4 is the key for any sales person, personnel or professional. So when you're selling, look at your achievements. Do not concentrate on the rejections. Give yourself a pat on the back for the achievements. And rule of 4 is key for any sales professional. What is rule of 4? When a person or a customer is asked to make a purchase decision, he will say no 4 times before finally accepting it. Sales professionals need to have both patience and persistence. Rejection isn't always a bad thing. It is essential to know that you are getting closer to acceptance. So if you have 10 prospects, okay, the first one says no, okay, one is gone. Second one says yes, yeah, boy, the second one has said yes. Third one says no, so second, 2 rejections. Fourth one says no, 3 rejections. Fifth one says yes. Sixth one says no, that is 4 rejections. Out of 10, 4 are already over. So you have to convince yourself or tell yourself that my rule of 4 rejections are over. Now I'm only going to get a yes. When you go with this positive attitude, no, you are sure to win. Please remember that. And even if you get the 5th person saying no, it's all right. Increase your quota to 20. Okay. So go with this rule of 4 and convince yourself that everyone does not say no. You're just getting closer. If you're getting 3 rejections in a row, you're getting closer to being accepted. Okay. When you're telling some company or some person about a product or about an idea or about a service, give some background. Let them know that you know everything that there is to know. Whatever questions they ask, you should know the answer. You're such an expert in the product so that the customer gains confidence in the product. Also have a good reward program that offers discounts. Always go armed with a lot of discount, a lot of gifts, a lot of incentives so that the customer is attracted. I remember once I had gone to buy a movie camera many years ago in Singapore. So we had gone traveling to Singapore and shopping, etc. We went and we said we'll buy a movie camera. That time, that was a craze to have. That time there were no mobiles many years ago. So movie camera everywhere. We took our movie camera and went. And someone told me buy a Samsung movie camera. So I went, excuse me, yes, please come in. I want to buy a Samsung movie camera. So he took it out of the box and he showed the movie camera. and these are the features, and this is what you get with it, and this is an extra cassette you can put it in, etc. And this is what it costs. So I said, oh my God, it costs so much. So he knew exactly my points, okay, my pain points or my attraction points. He knew that I wanted a good camera with a good focus, etc., but I didn't want to pay that much. So he said, okay, you don't want, I've got another model for you, Sony, not Samsung, Sony. Smaller, but smarter camera, costing much less than Samsung. And these are the qualifications. These are the qualities of the camera. This. Plus, I will add an extra battery and I will add a discount coupon, etc. What will be said. And I was zapped. I said, wow, in a lesser price, I'm getting a Sony with so many incentives and discounts that I don't want that Samsung. Okay, let me take the Sony. And he picked up the Sony. Of course, I was using it till the mobiles came, but that was the way he sold it to me. Okay. That's the whole idea, to incentivize the customer, give him discounts, offer him coupons, gain his confidence in the product. That is the way you don't have any rejections only when you go. That is that. Now we are going to start personal selling after 10 minutes. Stopping sharing this, and we have two people here. So you all take a 10-minute break, and I'm going to come back, let's say after at 5 past 10. It's 9:55 a.m. At 5 past 10, I'm coming back. Is that okay, Isaac and Pawan? Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I'm back and glad to be back with you after a 10-minute break. I've brought my tea with me and we're ready to start for the next hour or so. So here we go again. I'll share with you what we were about to do just now, and that is personal selling. I hope you can see this. Yes. Okay, back again. Now, the art of having a sales conversation. We were talking about persuasion, we were talking about being rejected. Now, let's talk about personal selling. Understanding the relationship of the sales technique to persuasion. Promote a unique selling proposition, handle objectives, and close prospective buy. Use 4 steps: attention, interest, desire, and action. Okay, attention, interest, desire, and action. These are the first steps. First, get their attention, arouse their interest, let them have a desire to buy the product, and let them buy the product. Convince the project logically, informationally, and emotionally. That is logos, pathos, and ethos. Talk spontaneously. Focus of the talk should be selling the product. Okay. Do not pitch straight away. Lead with a compliment. Greet politely. Be comfortably seated. Do not talk straight away. Be casual. The client has promised 15 minutes, so relax. But do not meander. Build on generalities and lead your conversation towards the goal. So remember, you've rung up the client and he has allowed you to come and meet him, and he has offered you 15 minutes. That is a wonderful gift that anyone can give you. He has kept time in his schedule of 15 minutes to be. Okay. Also, do not go and say, hello, Mr. Sharma, my name is Beena. I want to sell you this product. Do not pitch straight away. Go in, talk to him and say, what a wonderful office you have. Lovely view. Thank you. Good afternoon to you. Please sit down. Okay. Talk about the weather, talk about how you took so much time to come, but I was well in time, etc. And now, should we move towards our objective? I came here to introduce my product. Go gently towards your goal. Tuning, read the emotion in the room. Remember, I told you some time back, read the emotion in the room. Be in sync with the prospect's energy. If they are calm, speak calmly. If they are enthusiastic, show energy. Be on the same wavelength and build rapport. Mimic body language and pick up signals to establish a connection. That's called NLP, neuro linguistic programming. Okay, mimic the client. If he's holding his hands to himself like that, you also sit like that comfortably. If he's relaxed in his chair, you also relax in your chair. So he sees a mirror image of himself and he's comfortable. If he's calm and you're getting excited and you're saying, you know what, then he feels a little nervous and he says, oh my God, this person is showing so much energy. What should I do? Should I buy it? I'm not sure. So that uncertainty comes in. Don't allow that. To clarify the prospects, wants, needs, and desires, ask questions. Okay, now you're selling something. He has agreed to meet you for 15 minutes. Ask more probing questions. Okay, your questions allow them to speak. Ask him. If you're selling insurance, say that you've come to sell him the health insurance. How's your health? I mean, whatever you want to ask about your health. I'm sure you don't have any problems health-wise. No, I don't. Then how come you're so interested in health? That's because I want to prevent any problem. So I'd rather be insured when I'm healthy. That's a good way of thinking, sir. Now, these are etc. So you ask questions and allow them to speak so that they respond. Select your questions so that they respond well and be prepared to answer their questions. Ask questions, answer them. Tell stories, okay? While you're selling your product, don't say, I want to sell you this product, please buy it. Not like that. You know, I went to another office the other day, and that gentleman told me that I don't want this product, I want that. And he talked about the virtues of the other product. And I was also very happy that he liked the other one. And then we got talking and he bought that from me. Both of us were happy, etc. Whatever you want to tell, whatever story you have, personal story of your success, of anecdotes, just to increase the rapport so that the prospects open up to you. Do that. Tell stories. Now, certain prospects may have objections. Sometimes you get an entry and you talk about your product seamlessly. Sometimes it's a two-way conversation is a two-way street, and you listen and you hear an objection being raised by the prospect. Understand it. Don't say, no, 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 that is wrong, that is wrong. You can, the customer is king. You can never say, tell the customer he's wrong. Take the objections, put it on the table. Take the second objection, put it on the table. Have them ready and then deal with them one by one. The very fact that you're listening to his objections and you're giving him patient hearing is enough to make him feel that you are giving him a patient hearing. He doesn't want an answer to all the questions. Okay? 1 second, there's a phone ringing. I'll just take. Okay, sorry. So get all the objections on the table, deal with them, answer them as best as you can. You are a human being. You are not God that you have all the answers. But that's why I said go with a full knowledge of your product. You can answer each and every question that he raises, objection that he raises. Align yourself with your client. Got it? Admit to the client that it is a big decision you are taking, and you are with him. His guard will come down. He will be comfortable chatting with you and he will not think you are hustling him. Very, very important to convince the other person that you are in between, a go between the good product and him. And I know it's a big decision that you are taking. I am with you and at every step of the way. So then he will understand and he will say, oh, thank God. At least that way he knows that I am putting a lot of money. He's not hustling me or he's not pushing me. That comforts the buyer. Use your imagination. Move away from selling just what he needs and combine a variety of products. Doing right by the customer will eventually help you stay in his good stead. I told you what that movie camera person sold me. I went to buy one Samsung. He's moved away from selling just one product. He introduced Sony, a smaller but a better camera, cheaper, added some more items to it. Also told me to buy one more thing so that in case the battery ran out, I can buy a power bank or something. I don't know what he told me, but I bought that. all because he understood my need of products and gave it to me. So that is personal selling, understanding the person's needs and doing right by the customer. He was not fooling me. He was just offering me an alternative. To sell is to serve. Remember, you are doing the client a great service by introducing him to a product of great value. Go to him with a smile, have good intentions. If he says no, it is his loss. You move on to the next prospect. Remember this. Don't go to him. Oh God, taken 15 minutes. At the end of 15 minutes, you have been genuine in selling the product to him. But if he says no at the end of 15 minutes, definite no, then it is his loss. Remember that. It's not a personal loss. It's not a face. Oh my God, my 15 minutes I wasted. You have not wasted anything. You have just spent 15 minutes understanding the person's objections, taken them on board, taken them home with you. If he says no, it's his loss. And you move to the next prospect. You have the timetable, you have sent out emails, you have made phone calls, you have a list. If not this, there is another and another and another. Your pipeline is bursting. It has to burst. You have to keep your pipeline fresh and ready. So never be dejected when you're selling. That kind of goodness on your face or happiness on your face is very, very attractive and very contagious. Other people will be obliged to buy from you. If you show the least amount of sadness or little bit of aggression, people will say, please stay away from this person. Please don't come to my house. Okay? You don't want to buy? Good. Your loss, my gain. I have taken your objections with me. I will deal with them with the next prospect. And you move because it is your job or your service to sell. Now you've come to the close. After the top 8 steps, it is time to methodically approach the last step. Deal with objections. You have dealt with his objections, earned his trust, and confirmed he feels good. And ask how you should proceed. Do not be pushy. Have patience, but don't let your vital opportunity pass you. Keep in mind your goal. Ease yourself in. Okay, now you've come to the last step. He's agreed with everything. You've dealt with all his objections, and then you offer him the order book and say, would you like to therefore sign on the dotted line? How would you like to pay, by check or by GPay or by draft or whatever you want? Would you like to sign? He will sign. He has committed. Ease yourself in. Don't hustle. Don't push. Ease yourself. Okay. After all this, he might even say, I need some more time. Don't say, oh, but gosh, you were so close. Don't show disappointment. Say, sure, if you need time, I'll give it to you. When can I meet you next? Make him do a little bit of commitment to time. Next, yes, take it down, write it in your diary and say, okay, take your time, read all the literature, and I'll meet you on Wednesday at 3:30. So you haven't let the opportunity go by. You have a hook in. But if you could have closed the sale then and there, it would have been nice. But he refuses completely. That means he needs more time. Give it to him. Okay. So those were your personal selling skills. Always maintain a positive attitude. Be enthusiastic. Objections are a natural part of the sales process. They are not a personal insult. Maintain good eye contact even when under fire. Now that man might be shouting at you, or lady or man, and saying, what the hell do you mean? What kind of product do you have? You keep selling this rubbish stuff to me. You're sorry. if you felt like that. Many of my customers have bought the products and are happy with it. You have come up with genuine objections. I can take that on the table. Objection one, objection two. I will deal with it and come back. Always maintain eye contact. Keep looking at the customer. Don't say, don't fidget and say, I don't know. No, keep looking at that. So that person, client also knows that you are confident. Even if he's shouting at you, you are sure of your products. So that way, if you acknowledge his objection and give your point of view and have knows you're a genuine chap and not fooling him, and you have a genuine product. He may be a hot-tempered person. Okay. So never cower down with someone shouting and all. Maintain your cool. Okay. So that was personal selling recap. So when you're selling, when you're persuading someone, be one with that person. Okay. Be one with him, mimic him, do what he does so that he's comfortable. It's a mirror image he sees in you and he is comfortable. There is no digression or dichotomy. Okay, now we're talking about feedback. The next half an hour, in order to create relationships and maintain them, it is important that we give and receive feedback. Feedback is a powerful mentoring tool. The culture of a company depends on the way feedback is given and received. It should be given in the spirit of supporting. The three components are timely, effective, and something. What is it? One sec. Timely, accurate, and actionable. Okay. 1 minute. I will just share it. Timely, actionable, and accurate. Okay. Timely, actionable, and accurate. It should be given in the spirit of supporting. You know, when we have heard about it, some of you have, I've spoken so often about it, in that it is very important for us to receive feedback for our speeches that we give. We give for 5 to 7 minute speeches. Sometimes our icebreakers are for 4 to 6 minutes. In that, an evaluator gives us feedback on how we have spoken, content, delivery, and what can be improved. So our feedback is also often given as a sandwich method. So you give commendation, that means how well we have done in our speech. Recommendation means how we can improve. What are the areas of improvement? First, our strengths are given, then our area. That means again our strengths are mentioned. So it's a sandwich method in which commend, recommend, and comment. Sandwich. So we've nicely sandwiched the recommendation between two commendations, and you feel good about receiving feedback. You feel motivated to come back and speak again. Concentrate on the behavior, not the person. Okay, on the speech. In this case, what I'm speaking, concentrate on the speech and not the person. Of course, there is a delivery aspect of the speech in how you gestures, whether there was eye contact, whether there was non-verbal cues given for the speech, etc. And always the feedback is about you feeling what you felt when you heard him. Okay, it's not everyone thinks that you are a fool, or everyone thinks that you have not done well. Not like that. You are not a spokesperson for everyone. You are talking about how you felt, what you saw, and what you thought. So it avoids you from sounding accusatory and focusing on behaviors instead of assuming interpretations. Okay. Now, certain teachers, now I'm a professor. When I'm teaching in class, sometimes someone doesn't come for 2-3 days, then how will I say, I haven't seen you in class for a week, I'm worried that you are missing some important information, can we meet soon to discuss it? Okay, all I'm saying is that I haven't seen you in class, which is a fact, and you're missing something important, which is also a fact. So can we address that and meet and discuss? Some people say, you obviously don't care anything about the course, you're not bothered, you're negligent. Only you, not to do that. Okay? Concentrate on the behavior, not the person. Balance the content. Important to provide the recipient with balanced feedback regarding strength and opportunities for growth. So you provide feedback on the strengths so that he identifies the good points in his body and in his self, and he works on those, act on those. Then give him feedback on the opportunities for growth and improvement. So he looks at those weaknesses and he works on that. Balance the content, strength and weaknesses. Avoid general comments that may be of limited use to the receiver. Be specific. In Toastmasters, when we talk about his speech, we give certain examples where I think as an evaluator, I think that that was the wrong way of saying it. Suppose I want to tell him that it's better to include dialogue instead of telling the story as a narrative, because dialogue gives an immediate feedback. For instance, I should say, for instance, when you told me my mother and the shopkeeper had a terrible argument, and he threw said that I in your money, and he told her that he was not interested in his money and that he didn't want to do any business with her. Now, instead of telling it as a narrative, you can say, I was with my mother in the shop when the argument started. The shopkeeper shouted, here, take your bag. And my mother said, why are you throwing it at me? Can't you give it to me politely? No, I don't want to give it politely. And I don't want to do any business with you. My mother took the bag and away. This gives you the entire picture instead of saying, and then my mother said, and then the shopkeeper said, and then my mother said. Okay. So if you tell the receiver that this is how you should receive your feedback, this is, instead of this, you should do this, and give a specific example how you should do it, it helps the receiver. Be realistic. Okay. Don't give something to the receiver that he can't change. Okay. It is useless and frustrating for recipients to get comments on something over which they have no control. Feedback should focus on what can be changed. Now, suppose that a person is giving a speech in a room and there's constant interruption and it's no fault of his, but you can't hear what he's saying because of the interruption. You must tell him, and you can't tell him, and there is too much interruption, I cannot hear. What can I do? I can't change it because that carpenter has to work for the school or exam in which the speech, and he cannot move out of that room. So that either entire people should have moved out of the room or continue to bear the sound. So something that you can't control, you can't talk. So People's behavior is rarely consistent. So never say always do this. Try and do this. I recommend that you do this. It's always polite to offer suggestions. Don't insist with your finger out like that. Own the feedback. Say I. Don't say they. They think that you should have done this. Or we think, no, we are not. I. Own the feedback. It is your opinion. Okay? Be timely. Seek an appropriate time to communicate your feedback. Being prompt is key since feedback loses its impact if delayed too long. Delayed feedback can also cause feelings of guilt and resentment in the recipient if the opportunity for improvement has passed. If your feedback is primarily negative, take time to decide what you will say or write. Okay? As far as possible, try to find the best thing that has happened in the speech or in the action for which you are giving feedback. So talk about that action, good things. Motivate that person. Everything can't be bad. Has to be good. Dig deep into the content and find something good. Encourage him that he has taken the courage to come in front of so many people and talk. That itself is a good feedback. So don't make a feedback primarily negative as far as possible. And give it on time, because if it's delayed and given late, it loses its impact. And then later on, sometime you will take it out and say that, by the way, 2 weeks back about the speech that you gave, here's the feedback. That person has forgotten the immediacy of the speech. And he'll say, from where? I never said this. And he starts feeling resentful and angry. Don't delay. And offer continuing support. Feedback is not a one-time process. It is a continuous process. Follow up all the time. Tell him that the last time I gave you feedback, but this time I found that you've worked on it and you've done a good job. Okay? And if you have any questions, please, I'm willing to answer. Be in touch. Stay connected. And why do we need feedback? Because otherwise we think we are very good. We think if you don't give me feedback on the way I'm teaching you, if you don't fill that form which your Ajinkya will give you, and if you don't give me feedback, I will think that I'm comfortable in my zone. I don't need to improve. I don't need to say anything. But if you tell me, ma'am, you are not you're showing the PPTs too fast, or if you're showing it too slow, or we can't understand this, we can understand that, but not this, then I know what I'm supposed to improve on. Okay? To get us out of our comfort zone, to track our progress, to be vulnerable and sensitive to correction, send our growth into a different trajectory. So that with the feedback, incorporating the feedback, we become successful. Now, if you're giving feedback to a speaker or to someone who's performed a job or a thing, you have to be sensitive. You can't say, what the hell? What do you think you're doing? Is this the way you handled a situation like this? Not like that. You may be angry, but don't show it in the speech or in the email that you're sending. In the right manner, if a feedback is given, it does not hurt. And it serves the company well because it only helps. It should be on the action and not on the person. It should be specific and crisp and practical so that the person should be able to implement it. Okay? Okay, now you are the boss and you have called the employee to the cabin. You are giving him feedback for his previous month's performance. You give a rude and personal feedback. Please write in the chat box everything that you will say, which is rude and personal. Previous month's performance. Now, come on, I want you to do this. In the chat box, I want you to give me everything that you will say rudely about this person. Where's the chat box? I want you to chat and tell me, or you write and tell me. What is it that you will say rudely about the person? Writing? Isaac and Pavan, do you want to write or do you want to tell? What do you want to do? Okay, so you are the boss and you have called the employee to your cabin. You are giving a feedback for his previous month's performance. You give a rude and personal feedback. Please write in the chat box everything that you say. Some people in my last session wrote that you have no sense, you are stupid, you give, you come late to work, you have no sense of responsibility, you this and that, all kinds of stupid things that you can say to an employee were said in the chat box. Okay. Now, another example is that you are giving a feedback for his previous month's performance. You are sensitive and follow all the rules. Please write in the chat box what kind of feedback you will give, where you are sensitive and not rude. And I had told you how to give feedback in a sandwich method. So that is the exercise you'll have to do. If you're not present now, or if you've tuned off, take this home and do this exercise. One exercise is to give rude feedback, and one exercise is to give sensitive feedback, so that he is motivated to work harder and do a better job the next time. So there are ways and means of doing that. Now, if you were on the receiving end of the feedback, take it as if it were a gift. Receive it at the risk of being hurt. Listen carefully, treat it objectively, follow up and take necessary steps. Remember, feedback is like a rejection, more or less. It's not personal. It's the thing that you have done, which is good or not good, as an action. So take the feedback for the action, correct the action if it requires correction, and then follow up and take necessary steps. Listen to the feedback given, means do not interrupt, hear the person and listen to what they are really saying, not assuming what they will say. Concentrate on listening and understanding rather than being defensive and focusing on your response. So when you're listening to feedback, you're at the receiving end and you're trying to be defensive all the time. No, no, but wait. Sit back and listen to your response. Make mental notes of how you, if you are asked to defend yourself, what you will say. Otherwise, take whatever has been told to you. So and so, you didn't do this, you could have done that. This is how you could have done, etc., etc. Take down it. Okay? Don't be defensive. Now, when you're receiving feedback, also sit quietly and receive it. Don't try and close your eyes and put your hands together and say, I'm not interested. Try avoid putting up barriers. Don't look distracted and bored. That sends a negative message. Attentiveness, on the other hand, indicates that you are interested in what someone has to say, and that puts both of you at an advantage. Okay? Open posture. See the pictures. Instead of closing your hands, keep an open hand. Friendliness, openness, and willingness. And wear pastel colored clothes. Don't wear red flaming clothes. Okay? Be open. You may learn something worthwhile. Understand the message. Understand what you have heard him say and then ask for clarification. Repeat the key points so you know exactly what his feedback is like. Okay? Reflect and decide what to do. When you get a feedback, and decide whether you should avoid it, ignore it, or use it. Your response is your choice. Okay? Follow up. Sometimes your follow up will simply involve implementing the suggestions given to you. In other situations, you might want to set up another meeting to discuss. So sometimes our feedback is just giving, they've just given you a certain set of instructions that you've done all this well, except there are one or two ideas where I wish you could have done it this way. That is all the feedback you got. Follow it up, do it, and change it. Otherwise, ask for another meeting. Okay, so that is feedback. Now, we have come to about 15 minutes are left for feedback. I want to talk about a certain 7 advantages that we have, which I want to share with you. And I would like you to just go through that. But before that, I want to talk about the power of belief. Like I said, the power. Belief in yourself, belief in your team, and belief in your others. It is purpose and clarity. Follow your beliefs. So whatever you do, like I told you, when you're selling an item, believe in it first. Convince yourself. If you are convinced of the item, you can sell it to any Tom, Dick, and Harry, to anyone. Once you have to believe in it yourself. Okay? Communicate with yourself and the power of belief. Communicate with yourself intelligently and inspiringly is more important than communicating with others. Reach yourself first and then reach others. If you lose, you lose, but that does not mean you hunch your shoulders and give up. Come back begins with an attitude. Okay? So remember, believe in yourself. Loss, victory and loss are always there. You win some, you lose some. If you lose, you lose. But don't say, oh God, I've lost everything, and go into the cave and lick your wounds and say, oh no, what should I do? I've lost it. Now I can't go back. Come back begins with an attitude. Good. How will you believe in yourself? Condition your mind, condition your body. Best weapon you have is imagination. Okay? Can we stand in front of the TV camera and talk? Can I stand in front of you and look at the camera and talk? Yes, I can. That is my power of belief. Okay. Awaken the inner coach. Think of all your good qualities. I am patient, I listen well, I play a good game, I can dance, I talk well, I can draw. Sometimes, when you tell your students, come on, now, draw, ma'am, I can't draw, ma'am, I can't sing. Who decides whether you can draw or you can't draw? Why do you have such high standards? Someone's asked you to express yourself, play a good game, dance, talk, draw, do it. Do it with conviction. That is the power of belief. Okay, talk to yourself. That is true communication. It's okay to make mistakes. I can handle this. I value myself one step at a time. There is self-talk that is also unhelpful. And that is, I don't know. I'm scared. Sorry. Nobody likes me. I'm not sure. Postponing always. Maybe, can't say. I don't know whether I'll be able to do it. God knows. And look at this picture. How you are unimportant, unwanted, shameless, useless, despicable, hopeless, sickening. Look at all the words. Opposite of power of belief. Opposite. Say one good quality you possess in the chat box. Say one fear you have and compare the two lists, which is longer. Now, if you don't want to do it now, I think you should take about 5 minutes out of our session at the end and make a list of all the good qualities you possess on one side, and on the other side, fears that you have, all the fears that you have. We just saw this picture that you're scared, you're sorry, nobody likes me. These are little fears that everyone has. I don't know, unsure, postponing, procrastination. So make the list, okay, two lists, and compare and see which is longer. This we had done right in the beginning, called the fantastic cat. So I want you to think about it again. Look at the fantastic cat, how we put our good qualities on the cat. Okay, transfer our good qualities on the cat. What had we put? That we can sing well, we can talk well, we can cook well, I can dance well, I can draw well, fantastically, not well, fantastically. These are our qualities. Put those qualities on the cat. Make a big list, not just three. And you will find the list growing every day with your belief, power of belief. Okay? Now, this is where I will end. We've got 10 minutes left. I told you that is the job you have to do. Make the list. Also do another job, and that is to write all the boss when you're giving feedback. And on the other page, write all the nice things and the delicate things that you will give as a feedback, which you've just learned how to give in the list. Two lists of doing good feedback, bad feedback, list of all your fears, and list of all your good qualities in and around this fantastic cat you can draw. So with that, I'm coming to the end of our session now. We will close here, and I would like to end the session now. We've got about 10 minutes left. I want you to do those two sessions, which I just told you, in the 10 minutes that are left, because I tried to look at you and ask you to do it. You were not available. So I said, Chalo, let me give you the 10 minutes at the end of the session. So do that and be ready for your next session. With that, I would like to end my session. Thank you very much and see you later. Mr. Ajinkya, you may stop the recording. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am. We
Thank
will
you.
definitely do. Yes.
Do that, yeah, please.
Yes.
Mr. Ajinkya, I would like to end the session now. Okay?
Hello. Hi, yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay,
I'm leaving now. Yeah.
okay, ma'am.